We have live Team 5 coverage of Hurricane Earl. We'll begin with Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel, who is tracking Earl's path. Steve?
All right, a busy day in the Hurricane Center. Here's a look at what's going on. Earl, Fiona, Gaston, and a fourth tropical wave that's come off the coast of Africa. The new information on all of these, it's been a very interesting day. The winds now with Earl are down to 115 miles an hour. Still a powerful Category 3 storm. There's the Carolina coastline. Obviously, hurricane warnings are in effect for this area. Do not expect a landfall along the coast of the Carolinas, but a very close brush with some very strong winds and some heavy rainfall. The winds, as I mentioned, at 115, moving north at 18 miles an hour. It's about 500 miles from our area. It continues to track up the east coast. Eventually a landfall in eastern Canada Saturday morning, but the track now getting a little farther to the east in the next 48 hours, or a little narrower error cone as we head through the next few days. So that is good for the east coast. They still have the watches and warnings in effect. They stretch all the way from the Carolinas. Hurricane warning, tropical storm warning in blue, all the way up into New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, right along the coastline. We've got watches and warnings all the way up into Bangor, Maine, and actually the Canadian Maritimes also have hurricane watches in effect right now, too. Our water temperatures, our wave heights, and the computer models. The computer models in very, very good agreement that this storm will stay just offshore as it tracks up the east coast, with eventually a landfall in eastern Canada. That'll happen early Saturday morning. Our wave heights, phenomenal. They're anywhere from 20 to 30 to almost 40 feet just offshore. There's Florida there. Large swells at our beaches continue, and we're looking at more swells working in along the coastline right into Friday, starting to diminish, and the beach erosion too on Saturday and Sunday. So some good news with that, but we've got some big, big swells up and down the coastline, and this is really bad news because as we roll into the holiday weekend, we are looking at more swells working in along the coastline all the way through Saturday, potentially even into Sunday. I think things will have settled down by Labor Day, so some good news with that. Our other storm is Fiona. We're watching that one closely. Fiona washing out very, very quickly. Jay Gray has the latest from Wrightsville Beach.
As the outer bands of Earl begin to brush the outer banks, a sense of urgency, like the surf here, is growing. Homes and businesses boarding up, families packing up. Some real work for many who had started the Labor Day holiday early with a trip to the beach.
They've asked us to leave, so we're going to have to cut our vacation short this year.
It's a drill being carried out all the way up the East Coast. Boats are being pulled from the water in Massachusetts, and many are stacking up supplies, getting ready every way they can for what could be a rough couple of days.
Yeah, we're going into storm mode. They said that it's going to, come up the coast, and there's a strong threat.
Satellite images show just how strong. Earl is a massive storm, a beast of a system, even if some aren't taking it seriously. The growing waves are a lure for high-flying surfers and apparently for some visitors who refuse to leave.
We're not moving out. We're going to hang in here and battle the storm with everyone else. Hopefully it won't be too bad.
It's a hope shared by thousands, many who are making the safe move to higher ground along the Atlantic coast.
And that was Jay Gray reporting. While Hurricane Earl is hours from here, those most responsible for keeping tabs on the storm are just down the road. The National Hurricane Center in Miami is on full alert with Earl bearing down on the North Carolina coast. News Channel 5's Ro Norman continues our live coverage from there with more. Ro?
Jay, experts here at the National Hurricane Center remain extremely busy tracking the tropics. And with the storm just hours away from impacting the mid-Atlantic, forecasters here are warning the public there to be ready.
Now it's time to really make sure everything's done and be prepared for the impacts of it.
With sustained winds of 140 miles per hour, forecasters say Hurricane Earl will be strong and dangerous. Experts are predicting the outer bands of Earl will begin to impact the North Carolina coast overnight and early Friday morning. Forecasters say New England will start to feel the effects of Earl on Friday leading into Saturday morning.
The center of the storm will be either near or just off the coast from Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. and a bigger wind field. So a lot of tropical storm force, or 40 to 60 mile an hour winds, can be expected about southeast New England.
Forecasters say residents in the areas with hurricane watches and warnings need to listen to their local emergency management and be prepared for a weekend of bad weather. Experts also have their eye on Fiona and Gaston. They say both systems are weakening. Forecasters say Gaston is too far out to predict its projected path, and Fiona is not well organized, and they believe it may even dissipate.
What's most likely going to happen with Fiona is it will move up the east side of Earl and perhaps even get absorbed into the circulation of Earl.
Forecasters say Hurricane Earl is moving at about 18 miles per hour, and they don't expect the eye of the storm to make landfall. Live in Miami, Ro Norman, WPTV News Channel 5.